तस्या ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुमिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरु वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपां साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वञ्चकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for the wonderful Mangalacharan recital. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. Please accept our humble obeisances on behalf of everybody who have joined this group and are about to join. Prabhuji, we are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 1, Chapter 9. And the text for today is text 23. Chapter 9 is the passing away of Bhishma Dev. Prabhuji, shall we read the text, translation and purport and then hand over to you?
Please.
Hare Krishna, would anybody like to read the text? We are on 1.9.23. Okay, maybe I can read the text. Bhaktya veshasya mano yasmin vachayan namakirtanan tvajan kale varam yogi muchyate kamakam karmabhi. Word to word. Bhaktya, with devout attention.
Devout
Avesha,
attention.
meditating.
Aveshya, meditating.
Mana,
Mana,
mind.
Mind.
Yasmin, in whose.
Yasmin, in whose.
Vacha, by words.
Vacha, by words.
Yat, Krishna.
Yat.
Yat, Krishna.
Nama, holy name.
Nama, holy name.
Kirtanya, by chanting.
Kirtayam.
Kirtanya, by chanting.
Tyajan, quitting.
Tyajan, quitting.
Kalevaran, this material body.
Kalevaram, this material body.
Kalevaram, this material body.
Yogi, the devotee.
Yogi,
Yogi, the devotee.
Muchyate, gets released.
Muchyate, gets released.
Kama karmabhi, from fruitive actions.
Karma be from fruitive activities.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
The personality of Godhead who appears in the mind of the devotee by attentive devotion and meditation and by chanting of the holy name releases the devotee from the bondage of fruitive activities at the time of his quitting the material body. Purport. Yoga means concentration of the mind detached from all other subject matters. And actually, such concentration is samadhi, or 100% engagement in the service of the Lord. And one who concentrates his attention in that manner is called a yogi. Such a yogi, devotee of the Lord, engages himself 24 hours daily in the service of the Lord, so that his whole attention is engrossed with the thoughts of the Lord in ninefold devotional service, namely hearing, chanting, remembering, worshipping, praying, becoming a voluntary servant, carrying out orders, establishing a friendly relationship, or offering all that one may possess in the service of the Lord. By such practice of yoga, or linking up in the service of the Lord, one is recognized by the Lord himself, as it is explained in the Bhagavad Gita, concerning the highest perfectional stage of samadhi. The Lord calls such a rare devotee the best among all the yogis. Such a perfect yogi is enabled by the divine grace of the Lord to concentrate his mind upon the Lord with a perfect sense of consciousness, and thus by chanting his holy name before quitting the body, the yogi at once transferred by the internal energy of the Lord to one of the external planets where there is no question of material life and is concomitant factor. In material existence, a living being has to endure the material conditions of threefold miseries, life after life, according to his fruitive work. Such material life is produced by the material desire only. Devotional service to the Lord does not kill the natural desires of the living being, but they are applied in the right cause of devotional service. This qualifies the desire to be transferred to the spiritual sky. General Bhishma Dev is referring to a particular type of yoga called Bhakti Yoga, and he was fortunate enough to have the Lord directly in his presence before he quitted his material body. He therefore desired that the Lord stay before his view in the following verses. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna, over to you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for this opportunity to attempt to be of service. I appreciate it. It's always auspicious to hear and speak about Lord Krishna. So today's text, I'll read the English again. The personality of Godhead who appears in the mind of the devotee by attentive devotion and meditation and by chanting of the holy name releases the devotee from the bondage of fruitive activity at the time of his quitting the material body. So Srila Prabhupada covers a number of different points here. Does anyone have any questions? Anything that's come to mind already hearing this purport by Srila Prabhupada? Talking about how to be a yogi, what it means to be a yogi, what the results are of practicing yoga. Anything comes to mind or that we want to talk about at this point? It's all right. So here in this chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, this is the narration of the passing away of Bhishma Dev in the presence of Lord Krishna. And he is showing us, for one thing, the perfect example of the perfection of life, thinking of Krishna at the time of death and going back to Godhead. Very brilliant example by Bhishma Dev. We are very fortunate to have the association of Bhishma Dev. We are associating with him. In this Bhakti Yoga, we hear about associating with devotees. And we find out that association primarily means hearing about Lord Krishna and speaking about him. This is the primary meaning of association, that we should associate with devotees. Does anyone remember some verses or how Lord Krishna described devotees? How can we know someone is a devotee from Bhagavad Gita? Does someone remember?
Prabhuji, if I get your question correctly, you are asking us to, if we remember any devotee who used to remember the Lord all the time. Is that what you are asking, Prabhuji?
Not exactly. What are the symptoms of a devotee? How can we tell that someone is a devotee? According to some references of Bhagavad Gita.
Symptoms of a devotee according to Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Hare Krishna. Is it the description of a pure devotee, one who has all these noble qualities, pure in heart, honest, always seeing good in people, seeing divinity in other people, and all those sort of very noble qualities? Is that what you mean, Prabhuji?
Yeah, yes, the symptoms. Yeah, that's good. Very good. Anyone else remember something from Bhagavad Gita?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Somebody who doesn't have anger, lust, and greed, because that takes you straight to hell.
Yeah. These are other qualities of devotees.
And I think there's a time, and also the Lord describes the qualities of demonic and divine qualities. So whoever exemplifies divine qualities, in one of the chapters, there's a divine and demonic description.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you, bro.
Anything else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, go ahead.
I was just thinking, somebody who is like given up all the other dharmas and he's like completely surrendered to Krishna and doesn't do his karma with any fruitive expectations.
Yes, Krishna describes that. That's true.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Something else in the 10th chapter, Lord Krishna says, Satatam Ketayantos Mam, Yatantastra Dhridavrata, that my devotees are always engaged, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam, in hearing and speaking about me. This is another, along with those other ones, this is another symptom of a person who is a devotee of Krishna, always hearing and chanting about it. So here in this purport, we get a very concise description of yoga, a summary of yoga. Srila Prabhupada begins, yoga means the concentration of the mind detached from all other subjects. Such concentration is samadhi, or engagement in the service of the Lord. Now this is interesting, that to focus our mind on Krishna is service to Krishna. And sometimes we may think of service as actually doing something with our hands and legs and going somewhere and activity. But here we are finding out that service also means that just our thinking of Krishna is service. And we hear this repeatedly, how this is equal, that to serve Krishna means to think of him. And if we are thinking of him, we are serving him. And devotional service significantly means meditating on Krishna. Now we engage our body and mind in different activities of bhakti. But as we've discussed before, the very central focus is thinking of Krishna. So here Srila Prabhupada describes that. One who concentrates his attention on Krishna is called a yogi. Such a devotee engages 24 hours a day, engrossed with the thoughts, engaged in 9 different types of service: hearing, chanting, remembering, worshiping, praying, becoming a voluntary servant, carrying out orders, establishing a friendly relationship, and offering all that one may possess. By such practice of yoga or linking up in the service of the Lord, one is recognized by him, as explained in Bhagavad Gita, concerning the highest perfectional stage of samadhi. There's a verse that is quoted a lot by Srila Prabhupada at the end of the 6th chapter. At the end of the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Yoginam api sarvesha, that the highest of all yogis is one who meditates on Krishna. There's no higher success. And whatever we do in bhakti yoga or Krishna consciousness, it's supposed to help us always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada goes on to say that the Lord calls such a rare devotee who always meditates upon him the best of all yogis. Such a yogi is enabled by divine grace to concentrate his mind upon the Lord, and thus by chanting his holy name before quitting the body, the yogi is at once transferred by the internal energy to one of the eternal planets, where there is no question of material life and its concomitant factors. There's no suffering. So this is wonderful, wonderful news. Such a wonderful benefit that by our meditating upon Krishna at the time of leaving this world, we will break the cycle of birth and death, go back to the eternal spiritual planet, and never suffer again. That's just wonderful. You know, when we sign up with some company or some employer, they offer us different kinds of benefits. So this is the benefit package of being a devotee of Lord Krishna, that we can attain the solution to all of our suffering and enjoy eternal happiness forever. We should not miss that opportunity. When I was listening to the purport, I was thinking how sometimes people, they're going to college and they're pursuing a career, you know, maybe a medical career or some career, starting a business. They may actually start to work as a doctor in the business or whatever. And then something comes up. We see this. A family member might become very ill and they have to put it aside for some time, or they may become ill, or they don't have the money to finish college. And the whole thing is stopped for a while. And sometimes there is another opportunity. You know, we get another chance to go back to college or to continue our career, and that's not an opportunity to miss. Myself and all of us here, we have practiced yoga in other lifetimes. Occasionally someone may be starting new, but most of the time, if we are on the path of yoga and spiritual life, we are picking up from our previous life, and we should remember that I am continuing from my previous life, and I should not miss this new opportunity. It is just like my college education was put on hold, or my career. It often happens, usually with women. they're pursuing some career and they become married and there's children, and sometimes they don't get back to it, but sometimes they do. So we are continuing our career on the path back to the spiritual world, out of the cycle of birth and death. So it's not something to miss. We should not fall away from the path. We should do our very best to protect ourselves and protect our career. And it's possible to help others. We all have to fly our own plane. And it's very sad when we see someone, we hear about an airplane that falls from the sky. But we can't fly other people's planes. We can help, we can offer advice, but it's up to them to fly it. But we have to fly our own plane. And the wonderful thing about being successful in Krishna consciousness, or just being a devotee of Krishna, is that those who we care about, they will receive special attention from Lord Krishna. If we want to help our family, or help our friends, or anyone to get this fabulous perfection of breaking free from the cycle of birth and death and going back to Krishna, we should keep a focus on our own success. The more successful we are, that will be one of the best things that we can do to help those we care about. In fact, it is just like when you're on a plane and you're traveling with your child, and then the oxygen masks, there's something happens and the masks, they come down and you have to put them on. You should put yours on first, not your child, which may sound not good, but actually, if you don't take care of yourself, you won't be able to help your child. And usually you can do both very quickly. But I think you understand the point, that we should remember that we need to keep ourselves as healthy as possible in spiritual life. Otherwise, we will not be able to help ourselves or anyone else. So Srila Prabhupada goes on to explain that we are here in this world because of our ignorant desires. We're in ignorance how to be happy. We think we're going to be happy by making this life as comfortable as possible, which is not unnatural. There's nothing crazy about that. I mean, we do suffer, whether it's a mosquito bite or very hot or whatever it may be. Who wants to suffer? But how do we truly remove our suffering? That's the question. Yes, we can get some medicine for our headache, but we should think, how can I never get a headache again? Yes, this relationship is not going well. I should try and fix this relationship, but how do I never have to have such a difficult experience again? This is the permanent solution. And intelligent people think about this. And sometimes it may be very hard because the struggle in this life sometimes keeps us very distracted. It's challenging. You know, when we're in a difficult situation and some crazy Hare Krishna devotee comes up and says, well, you know, don't worry about this life, think about your next life, you know, don't be, you know, there's a lot, that's an easy thing to say, you know, but to do it can be difficult. But we have to push on, of course, as far as possible. We don't want to completely give up our attempt to break free from the cycle of birth and death because we're too busy trying to make things comfortable here. You see? So we have to make a balance that we don't have to suffer too much, but we don't want to get too busy making everything just perfect. And then we miss the opportunity of going back to Godhead. So this is one reason we talk about a simple life, as far as possible, making our life as simple and easy as possible. So we have less to think about, to deal with. And Krishna, of course, he's watching. He's watching. It's just, it's just like a doctor. When the doctor gives us some medical treatment and they give us a diet, and then the doctor sees us at the restaurant eating all the wrong food, what is he going to think? It's just, what is this person doing? They're going backwards. This is so unfortunate. And so Krishna, when he sees that we are sacrificing, that we are sometimes choosing something which, maybe we want something, but we would have to get a second job to have it. But we think, no, I'm so busy with this. I could leave this world tomorrow. This is crazy. Let me be satisfied with what I have. So Krishna sees that, and he appreciates, and he will help us. That's true of all teachers. Those of us who teach or who have taught, or we teach our children, when someone is interested to learn, then we become enthusiastic. Well, let me give them all the wisdom I possibly can because they want it. So Krishna gives us what we want. When we show Krishna by our following the four regulative principles and following the other practices that we want him, because that's what it means. We want him, and that's why we're doing it. Then he reciprocates. Oh, well, let me really help you. And if we show Krishna that we're not so interested, then he won't, because that's what he'll try. But after some time, Krishna will stop knocking on the door. So, well, you don't seem to want me, so I'll let you do whatever you think you want to do for a while. And then I'll come back, maybe next life or 2 lives, and I'll see how you're doing. And that's how it works. Tesham satatam yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayantite. Lord Krishna says that those who worship me with love and devotion, I give them the intelligence by which to come to me. Because that's what we want. And because of our affection, even our beginning affection, Krishna responds. So I just spoke about that verse, that those who serve me with love and devotion. So what did we talk about at the beginning about service? What is our prime service to Krishna? Who would like to say?
Prabhuji, is it chanting? Remembering him all the time?
Yes. We should never forget that. That the prime service to Krishna is to meditate upon him, hopefully with more and more respect and devotion and love. That is our prime, and that's all we need to do. That's all we need to do. There's a description that the yogi captures the Lord's attention, just like captures the Lord's attention with their constant devoted meditation, just like a fish is caught with a piece of some kind of bait on a hook. When fishermen go fishing, they put something on a hook, and then the fish are attracted, and then they bite. So we get Krishna to bite by our thinking of him. And this has a reflection in this material world. I don't want to get anyone entangled in anything, but it's well known. If you're in public and you start looking at someone, they will look back. It's not just, there's actually something deeper going on. It's almost mystical. Because when we look at someone, it often indicates we're interested in them, that we find them valuable. Or to put it simply, we like them. and it's very attractive. And all you have to do is look at someone a few times, and you get their attention. So it's the same thing with Krishna. He knows when we're thinking about him. He knows when we're meditating on him, whether we're chanting, which is our prime means of meditation. We're meditating on the divine names, or you open up your internet and go to the temple website and meditate on the deity of Krishna, or you go to the temple, or you meditate on a photograph of Krishna in your own house. If you focus your attention on Lord Krishna, he knows it, and he will become attracted. Oh, you like me? You're interested in me? Just like that, yeah. As we were discussing last week, bhakti, yoga, the yoga of love. Love, there's nothing stronger than love. Love conquers all, it is said. And love will conquer Krishna in the sense that he will reciprocate with us. He will relate with us. So Bhishma Dev, he is a pure devotee of Lord Krishna. He has been a devotee of Krishna from the beginning of his life. Somehow he ended up associated with the family of the Kuru. Such an awkward situation. Sometimes we get an awkward situation. Sometimes we're very focused on Krishna consciousness, but our parents or our sisters, brothers, our friends, we're living in a house. No one's really interested in Krishna. So Bhishma Dev, he had the same situation. He was living in the royal association of Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra and the other Kuru members. And Vidura was a devotee, of course, and Queen Kunti was a devotee, and the Pandavas. But there were many, many non-devotees. There were people who hated Lord Krishna. So he had to put up with that too. So we shouldn't think that, you know, it's only happening to us that we have to. No. But he kept his devotion. And here he is showing us a very brilliant example of putting everything aside and meditating on Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead at the time of leaving his body. Now, Srila Prabhupada touches upon something towards the end. He says, devotional service does not kill the natural desires of the living being, but they are applied to the right cause. So that's a very, very powerful understanding. This understanding that we don't want to kill our desires, but we want to utilize them in relationship with Krishna. Just like we can be greedy. You know, sometimes we're greedy to have a lot of money or have a big house or a car, or some managerial position. We're greedy, we're hungry for it, we're ambitious. So that's okay, but so we can be greedy to go back to the spiritual world. We can be greedy to have deep love of Krishna. We can be greedy to do things for Krishna. So therefore, it's the same ambitious kind of mentality, but it's in relationship with Krishna. We want to do business. We like to do business, make money, count money, sell things, buy things. Some of us have that propensity. That's wonderful. But do it for Krishna. Make as much money as possible and give as much money to Krishna as possible. Worship him opulently and serve his mission of spreading Krishna consciousness. Make millions of dollars. You like to have children? Then have children. Take care of them. Raise them in Krishna consciousness. You like to paint? Then paint about Krishna. Or paint paintings and sell them and give the money to your spiritual master. Whatever we want to do with the desires we have, that are not criminal, of course. No criminal, no selling ganja for Krishna. But we don't try and kill desire. We try and find a way to utilize them for Krishna's purposes in a way that helps us remember Krishna and helps others remember Krishna. A very wonderful understanding. Bhakti yoga is complete yoga. All other types of yoga don't have the completeness. They're not really natural. There's a word that's called holistic. Maybe some of you are familiar, holistic. Holistic means it takes into consideration all the different factors. So Bhakti yoga is holistic because it takes into consideration the reality of who we are and how our mind thinks and how this material world works, and allows it to happen in a way which is real. The other yogas, very often they involve repression. I'm not going to eat good food. I'm not going to laugh. I'm not going to joke. I'm not going to go to the party. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I'm just a spirit and I'm just going to meditate on spirit and that's it. So that may be helpful for some people, but it will ultimately fail because there is so much more to us. We want to enjoy. We want to love. And if those tendencies aren't fulfilled properly, then they'll be fulfilled improperly. It's not that we renounce everything. What is it to renounce? Everything belongs to Krishna. This is the full holistic reality. I can't renounce eating. I can't renounce making money. I can't renounce making relationships. These things belong to Krishna. So let me do them in a way that Krishna enjoys, in a way which will be healthy for me. So we eat, we cook, and we offer to Krishna, and then we eat, and we thank Krishna. Oh, thank you very much. And we work, and we make money, and we take care of our family, and we love in relationship to Krishna with a Krishna conscious perspective. And this is much, much more helpful than just repression. We're trying to stuff the desires back into our head, which we do. We as bhakti yogas, we also sometimes have to just ignore sinful desires and let them come and let them go. That's true. But ideally, we find a way to satisfy the desires in relationship with Krishna. It's much more happy, much happier, more peaceful way of living. So does anyone have any questions or discussion? A lot of deep and very important points.
Any questions or comments from the group? Ruchi, I liked it when you said the doctor said no, not to eat this, that, and the other, and then he sees you in the restaurant gorging away all the things that you're not supposed to do. So that would be a good example for free will, Prabhuji.
Yes, and then we go back to the doctor and say, oh, I'm so sick, I'm feeling bad. What is the doctor going to say? You nonsense. I saw you in the restaurant eating all the wrong things, and now you're asking me why you feel bad? Come on, get grip of yourself. Or if we go back too many times, the doctor will say, don't talk to me. When you really want to get well, come back, I'll help you, right? So Krishna will do that. If we deliberately fall down or we repeatedly make wrong choices, then Krishna may decide, well, fine, I'll let you do what you're doing for a while, and eventually you'll want to, be healthy. He's not going to force us. So that's free will. Yeah.
Thank you.
Spirit Master or Lord Krishna advises that do this. And it's our choice. You know, what we want is what we value, whatever we value. You know, that if we see what can happen, suppose we're on the path of bhakti, and then we go visit relatives. We travel some other place and we stay with them for some days or weeks, and we're not having much company of devotees who are interested in Krishna. We can, our valuing can start to fade. So that is why the association of non-devotees is about the most dangerous and worst thing that we can do as far as staying healthy in Krishna consciousness. And that specifically means, you know, very personal, continued deal. I mean, it's one thing to go to work and, you know, we say hello to our coworkers and we don't get too deep into our relationship with them. We don't go home with them, you know. But, you know, if we get too personal with people and we start, you know, spending time with them, it could be very, very harmful to our spiritual life. So we don't dislike the people. We don't hate anyone. But unfortunately, because of their not being on the devotional path, their company can be, you know, over time, very harmful. And so we're advised to be extra careful about who we associate with, which includes the television and the internet. You know, if we associate by hearing, again, it's hearing. You're hearing people talking, and we hear about them valuing. And you're right, people talk about what they value, what they're interested in. And it's a kind of mystical kind of thing, psychological kind of thing, that we tend to be enthusiastic about things other people are enthusiastic about. It's just the way it works. So we should be careful. Maybe some of you have heard about this mad elephant offense, how offenses are, you have to be very careful about offensive mentalities. And these offensive mentalities very often begin by associating too much with non-devotees. And then the opposite, you know, better to take a proactive, a positive approach is let me keep company regularly with enthusiastic devotees and as advanced as possible also, not just my equals and my friends, but let me be careful to associate with Bhishma Dev, Queen Kunti, Srila Prabhupada, and all the different great devotees who are available to us to associate with by hearing them, and if possible, being physically in their company. So that's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice. But people who are new and they already have a circle of friends, and what are my friends going to think? And I'm not sure. It would be good for me to keep my friendship, and you know, it can be a little difficult in the beginning. But that's a sacrifice. That I want to go back to the spiritual world. I don't want to suffer another birth and death in this world. I don't want to miss the opportunity of eternal life. So I can make new friends. I'm going to make new friends. It'll be a little sad, perhaps not mixing with these other ones, but I have to do it. I will do it. So this is good thinking. And Krishna will appreciate, oh, you are sacrificing. You used to spend, you know, every Saturday afternoon with this person, but you are minimizing. And I will help you. Good. I will find some good friends for you. So we should have this confidence that if we give up something that's harmful, Krishna will find a way to replace it for us. If not today or next week, soon. Different job, different friend, whatever it may be, different place to live. Krishna's not asleep at the steering wheel. it may take some time from our point of view, things take a long time. But even 5 years is not long in the space of eternity. It really isn't. It really isn't. Or even a year. Suppose it takes a year for you to shift your job. It's less than a snap in eternity. So Krishna is actually moving very quickly. If something changes within several months or a year, it's quick. It's practically instant. So that's something to remind ourselves. It seems like something is taking a long time, but let me remember, the cosmic time scale.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for that reminder, because in this world, when we have everything so instant, or even the food, you can just order it and it comes to your doorstep. Everything is instant. Messages, you reply to them instantly. You also,
especially with this messaging, you expect someone to answer the next 5 minutes. It used to be you had to mail a letter, and then you get the letter in a few weeks.
That's right. Yes, yeah. So in eternity, the time scale is different. So yeah, we need to take note of that. Thank you so much for making that point.
So we send a letter to Lord Krishna. We offer prayer to him a few times. So it may take a few weeks. It may take a few depending how big the thing is, or it may be the next day or a couple of days. Krishna's list.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? If there are no questions or comments, Divyesh Prabhu, are you able to close the session? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, thank you so much for your wonderful class. You always enlighten us. It's always a pleasure to have you share your knowledge. We really appreciate the way you explain everything, and we again pray Lord Krishna to grant all your wishes to come true, and please keep on coming to our class. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I'd like to share something. I don't usually like to talk about myself, but this is in reference to Krishna. So the past several days, suppose the last week, so I've been making a little extra effort. We always sometimes we decide to let me again put more focus on something. So I thought I would put more focus on just meditating on Krishna. Like reading a verse, I deliberately slowed down and read it a few times. And, I thought about each sentence, and I just tried to let my mind spend some time meditating on Krishna. Because as pointed out about this modern age and instant communication and stuff, there's a saying in recent years, no one reads anymore. Our life is very busy and our attention is often just skipping over this. There's not as much meditation. So I thought this will please Krishna. And I thought, let me see what happens. I'm just gonna please Krishna just by letting my mind just think about him. So I was doing that. And so yesterday I went out with my my vehicle to go to the store, and I stopped to get air for the tire, and actually the tire was flat. And then when I started to drive away, I thought I was driving on flat road, but actually there was a barrier, and my car went over the barrier in such a way that I couldn't back up the vehicle, and I was stuck. And this was at a petrol station. So I got out of my car and I was looking what to do. And all of a sudden, two people just walked over. What's happening? Can I help? One man, he had a big, heavy car jack for lifting tires. He just happened to have this heavy duty. And I said, here, let me help you. We'll lift up the car a little and then we can push it back over the barrier. And then someone was stopped at the traffic light, and they came out of their car and walked over and said, can I help? All these people just came over, and within 5 minutes time, the car was able to drive away. And so wow, that's, because that doesn't always happen. That, people, sometimes you have to go ask them. But they just walked over. I thought Krishna is reciprocating. This is a reciprocation. I recognize your attempt to meditate on me and to be closer to me in your heart. So I thought I would share that.
Wow.
Thank you, Prabhu. That's a really, Krishna works in mysterious ways.
Smart, and it doesn't have to be some big grand thing. It's just, he knows what we need. He knows what's going on. And sometimes things like that happen that are just, wow, that couldn't have been arranged better.
So true, so true. He's very, very merciful to his devotees.
Yeah.
And they say you take one step to Krishna, he'll take 10 towards you.
Yeah, I'm sure all of us may have some experience. I mean, another one I can think of was a long time ago when I was living in the temple. And, they make such nice offerings to Krishna in the morning, so many sweet. And, in the temple, was many devotees, and not many devotees had the opportunity to honor the Mahaprasad. So I was thinking, it'd be so nice to have a piece of the burfi. And a few days later, a devotee walked up to me and said, I thought you would like this. And they handed me a piece of burfi. So, things like that, they do happen. And it's something to appreciate, that Krishna is there and he is with me. And it's just my nonsense if I think that he's not.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences, your thoughts, your knowledge with us. We're most grateful. I request everyone to unmute and chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for the glorification. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna.
Hare Hare.
Krishna
Hare Rama Rama.
Rama Rama Hare Hare.
One.
Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha evacha patitanam pavanebhyo namo namaha.
Srila Prabhupada.
Ki jai.
Jai.
Ija.
His Grace Dina Sharana Prabhuji ki jai.
Jai.
All glories to all of you. Be well.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
Prabhuji. Till next week.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Hare Krishna.